Just almost fell and busted my head trying to run to get my boots because some kind of helicopter just went by, and it was very deep. It almost sounded like it was bigger. I'm used to the regular old ghetto bird flying by, the police helicopter or whatever, those regular, I guess you'd be almost like news chopper type of outfits or whatever they're using there. This one sounded really strange. It was a strange, clappy sound. And what's strange about it is today I seen this thing about black goo falling out of the sky, which is strange because, listen, I just said the other day, I swear I seen something that looked like the Mothman, or it kind of resembled a person with wings, kind of almost flying as well, man. I mean, it was such a strange thing. I know it wasn't no kite, and it had a real airplane fly to it. But I mean, I guess it could have been a drone, because I know the special thing about it, if it was a drone, the back tail fin, instead of pointing up, it was pointing down. Okay, that's something I can remember. I can recall now. And at the time, I was kind of mystified by it, and when you see something, you don't know quite what it is, that leaves your mind your imagination kicks in because you try to fill in the blanks. And that's kind of the thing about how people, their recollection of something, their stuff gets added to it or stuff gets taken away because that imagination effect kicks in where it's like, you try to fill in the blanks from what you're seeing there if you don't know what it is exactly. Like, the first thing I thought plane, wasn't a plane. Then I thought bird, and it didn't look quite like a bird. Then I thought drone, because, I am very suspicious of the AI Skynet takeover. And then, but I was just watching these videos about Mothman, and so look, there's how the imagination. But look, first I went to recollection. After that, I start stretching the recollection to the point where I'm almost now I'm reaching. And it's Mothman, it's an angel, but I mean, it did look similar to that. But like I said, I don't want to get tricked. So instead of saying I know for sure, I'll just tell you what I did see for sure, give you the best description I can of it. And it was a white thing with curved wings, dipped curved wings on the top, and then it looked like there was something hanging below it, almost like I said, that's why it almost looks like a person, but I couldn't see their head. But that's something about the Mothman. The Mothman's wings pop off above its head and off to the side, and so it does fit that description. I also said Thunderbird, just kind of throwing that in there because for some reason, just because, if you're familiar with the Native Legends of America, that's one that's been around, and it's like, it's also the pterodactyl. Are dinosaurs still living? The pterodactyls turn into birds, type of cryptozoology element to it, as well as like this supernatural, spiritual, trans-dimensional traveling creature that flies in the sky, and the Indians saw. Well, once again, the flying fiery serpent as well. You have the Bible, so if you hear the Indians talk about a thunderbird, it's not a big stretch to think, yeah, it's possible. What it say? The very first thing was created in the sea and the land. You had Behemoth and Leviathan. You know what I'm saying? So creatures such as that do exist. But when it comes to Mothman, on the other hand, and Mothman always shows up around when there's going to be a disaster. Supposedly, when the Chief's cornstalk curse, when the bridge fell. And it was, I think it's in Virginia or in Kentucky, or it's on the river between Kentucky and Virginia. Mothman showed up, and he was flying above people's cars, making people have a loss of time. Then some Men in Black, half alien hybrid dude named Indrid Cold kept doing. He had a couple people. He was deep throating for people, and going around questioning people, and they said he was real strange, had a high voice, and his head looked almost like he had Zika, which is kind of strange. But yeah, see, and what's crazy about this Black Goose situation too, we used to have property up there in Harrison, so I'm familiar with that area. And what also was crazy about it, I remember there was a child porn operation busted up there in Harrison, or in that area. But I was listening to Kathy O'Brien recently, and she was talking about the East Michigan Grand Rapids militia porn mafia. And she was telling me about, or on this video, the stuff she was saying. I didn't realize how local that situation was. And that's MK, that's gang stalkers, that's satanic secret societies, that's mafia, tied all the way up into the government and into MK and all that. That's kind of a big, and even the militia. And you can look into those King Alfred Plan operatives, where basically they try to get they let some people take the title of militia that really ain't. They're really operatives, like mercenary groups, camped out as militia, but they're really still loyal to the Fed. In other words, and these are the type of militia guys that you see them running up on and doing operations with, because it's almost like their insider agents are really just playing a role for the narrative of the Fed once again. I mean, at least, I don't know if the whole game all across the board is like that, but it definitely was, it's been discussed and thought into the plan, because it's in King Alfred Plan. So, but anyway, back to this black goo falling out of the sky. We got, dude, there's been so many sky ops, like geothermal engineering operations, here in Michigan. And listen, I've documented it for about maybe a year, like pretty heavy and regularly. So you can check my Google Plus on my other channel, and it's all out there, dude. Like, I caught frequencies. I've caught the sundogish. I've caught crazy weird storms. I've caught many rainbow weird events, many plasma-ish looking sky events. I've probably caught thousands of chemtrails and different planes. I caught a blue beam picture projected up in the sky somehow. I caught a solar what is it called, a solar corona, and many these sundogs, and I called them chembos because I saw rainbows that are upside down, shaped like a U, like a smiley face as opposed to a frown face, which is really strange shizzle. And so when I've been seeing all this locally and watching it on the internet of all over the world, strange sky events like the Air Magic Illuminati card, come on now. I mean, it's crazy, man. It's like life is reading like one of those rag mags, man, where 1,000-year-old mummy found in a pregnant virgin, like stuff like aliens infiltrated politics. There's a reptilian inter-tribal war going on in the deep underground military bases. Lone gunman type of stuff. I'm kind of a lone gunman magazine type myself. With my blog here. I'll be documenting some strangeness, some high strangeness, and just I just doing commentary on many of the weird fringy topics and the woo topics. I mean, that's where I like. That's crypto. You know what I'm saying? Cryptozoological. And it's fun. Not only is it good to learn the history and things, how things work, it's also enjoyable, and I also think it's rewarding to be able to chip away at these mysteries, man, and make sense of some of this stuff, and see it. We are in Revelations, which means, or we are in the Apocalypse, which means the disclosing, the unveiling. So I mean, it's like a lot of us out here, we know that's going on. So we're sitting back, we're ready to learn what's going to be disclosed. Other people are unaware, so they'll be looking back at it, but we'll be watching it as it's happened. It's crazy like that. It's like Lao Tzu said, "He that knows his history goes into the future with his hands on the reins of the horse." It's like a man who doesn't know history then. It's like a horse with no saddle and no reins. It's harder to control it and steer it. I mean, you can still ride that, but it's better to have your hands on the reins and you can kind of know where you're heading, in other words, is what that means. And you can actually kind of steer it as well. So that's just why all this stuff is relevant in any way. Why go through all this? Because it's relevant. You know what I'm saying? And it's necessary for someone to sacrifice their time and their mind and their thoughts, and their awareness. And just keep sticking with it, keep chipping away at it, and there's a lot of people out here doing that, man. They help me and mine get better by them being even better at what they do, which is men sharpen men, iron sharpens iron. And that effect does happen when you are out here just letting it ride on the tube, and or either battling in the forums. But battling in the forums, I seen this video called 10 Things You Should Know They Don't Want You to Know, and it's like 10 reasons why you can't win an argument online. And it just kind of shows, man. It's kind of like in the Bible. It says, if a fool tries to, why would a fool try to reprove or argue with a wise man? And then why would a wise man even rebuke a fool in the first place? Which just kind of makes him a fool. If trying to outsmart the wise man makes you a fool, but then again, being a wise man trying to rebuke a fool reduces you to both fools. You know what I'm saying? For that moment, for that situation there. So you should resist getting drawn into some kind of baited argument, baited questioning, interrogation, inquisition tactics. And there's no one says you have to do that anyway. It's like, hey man, take it or leave it, man, with the things that I'm saying here. You know what I'm saying? I never said you have to believe me. I ain't got no gun to your head. I ain't making you listen to none of this. I just happen to like doing it, and it's quite exciting, all these things going on. I don't have to make any of this stuff up. I don't have to make anything up. All I got to do is pay attention and talk about what's going on, and it's going to sound like the X-Files, literally, man.